All right, welcome back, everybody. We do not have Austin on the show this week, so we're bringing in my boy Hayjivepicks. Bear with us on the setup here, but we're just gonna run through this card from top to bottom. So we'll let everyone jump in here. Go ahead and drop your comments in the chat. Give us your guys' plays. Tell us what you're liking. We're gonna start from the very first prelim fight of the night, which I believe is it the Evan Elder fight or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, Evan Elder fight is up first. That's my
Brundage?
guy. I like Evan Elder, bro. I was hoping we were gonna get like a minus 150, minus 200 line.
Not happening.
I believe he's what minus 360 already.
I was seeing him like minus 400 to be honest, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's a tough line, bro. Like, I mean, he's 1-2 in the UFC, so that's kind of tough to lay minus 400 on,
yeah,
and it's 4 days notice. And Darius does have some type of power, but he's definitely not the better mixed martial artist. So
yeah,
it's gonna come down to like the first two rounds because if it makes it the third round, both these guys are on short notice, gonna be fighting at elevation. They're gonna gas.
yeah.
So I don't.
Ivan Elder is a fucking gym rat, though. I think
He is.
But Flowers, if he's like swinging heavy in that first round, I don't see him making. I think he's gonna go for broke here. I saw. You see his post? It was like, oh, I could cry about not having a contract, or I could just go out and get one.
Flowers.
Flowers, yeah.
Yeah, he's probably on the last fight on his contract.
Yeah.
And probably Elder's in the same spot, to be honest. Yeah, fourth.
They're both in similar spots. So Elder's 8-2 in MMA, 1-2 in the UFC, but the guys he's lost to, solid. I mean, Preston Parsons not really.
Yeah.
But Salikhov, I think, is decent. And that was a very close. Or no, he lost late, right? It was like a late. It was like I think it was like an early stoppage late in round 3 or
He
something.
cut he got
It was
a cut in his eye.
That's what it was. That's what
Yeah,
it
he was up
yeah.
2 rounds though.
Yeah.
On like 2 of the
That's
judges'
right.
scorecards.
That's right. Because I remember I bet that fight. Yeah, that was sick. Yeah, I think he wins this fight easily. I think he has to be cautious in that first round. Darius Flowers, he got outstruck 61-33 against Michael Johnson. Got taken down 4 times. I just think Elder can win the fight wherever he wants to take it.
I think so too. I think he could probably go to the wrestling here too, because Flowers has terrible.
Dude, I wonder what Elder's sub is.
I wish Elder had some more pop in his hands. Like,
yeah. So Elder by sub is only plus 250 on draft. Like FanDuel doesn't have the number, and that's even with the KO at plus 250. So that's kind of
what's his decision?
Kind of telling. Decisions plus 180.
Oh.
I think you go round 2-3 finish here.
Yeah, I could see it.
Is Elder round 2 plus 380, Elder round 3 plus 700. So those aren't bad numbers, and then you cover your basis on the KO and the sub. So, but let's move on, Brad. Let's move on to the next one. This fight is very interesting, right? Because I saw Hayden's video actually on this. Like, there's a lot of reasons to like Fremd because of he's training there already. He's based out of that area. Petroski. Dude, the tape on Petroski, bro, he just winds up and throws shots. His striking is not UFC level, but I think he can get this fight to the ground early and find a sub. And I think if he doesn't do that, I think Fremd is as light as it gets here. So this one I've kind of gone back and forth with. It seems like the whole world likes Petroski.
I'm thinking you're going to go Fremd 2-3. I think that's going to be a bet of yours.
This is one of those fights I would go both sides, bro. Petroski round 1 sub. You saw like what's the one fight, the Maximov fight, right? He comes out, subs him early.
Yeah.
While both guys are dry and Petroski has his cardio, I think he can show he's just a better grappler here. Come out, make this a wrestling match, and get Fremd out of there. But I think if he doesn't, then I could see a late TKO. The only thing is, what did you make of the Malkoon fight? Because it was just a weird fight. I got lucky because I had Malkoon round 2-3 KO and I won.
I had that.
I still don't understand what happened in that fight.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. You can't really make too much of it other than like Petroski's frail, and he doesn't always have a good gas tank nor the best heart.
Yeah.
So I think Petroski could get his takedowns early, and I think both guys are super live for a sub early. When they're dry. And then, as it goes into round 2 and 3, Fremd's still going to be there. Petroski's not. So I would probably chalk it up to like Petroski early, or he just gasses and
Yeah.
Fremd takes over. But I like what Olajuwon Dream said. Give me the under. I like the fight to not go the distance too. I think either guy are gonna find
What
a
is
finish.
that number?
I think I got it like minus 165 or something like that. It's
That's not bad.
terrible. Yeah. Or the under 2.5 is maybe like minus 120, minus 130.
Yeah. It's not bad. Yeah, this is a tough one. I think I'm probably going to play the Petroski round 1 sub, and then maybe even just take the fight to not go the distance. I just think he looked better than what I thought in that Malkoon fight. I thought Malkoon was going to smoke him so easily, and he kind of held his own in that fight, and then it was just that weird KO. That's the only thing that's kind of holding me back here. And this is a must-win really for both guys.
I think Fremd has got another contract, but Petroski might be on the chopping block.
Yeah, I mean the Kopylov
We'll see.
fight. He's not outstriking Kopylov. He got caught in that fight. The Jamie Pickett fight, I still have PTSD to this day. I swear he had Pickett out in a guillotine, and he fucking came back and woke up in a second, 2 seconds later. The Dumas fight, he was able to get a guillotine choke. The Tresean Gore, that was. I think if there's any reason to like Petroski by sub here, it's because of the Tresean Gore fight.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
But then again, Josh goes the distance with Anthony Hernandez in his debut.
Both these guys are dumb fighters. They're
Yeah.
just dumb. Like they don't really have a good game plan, and they don't implement anything. They're just out there doing whatever they do.
Yeah. Yeah, I like fight to not go the distance, and I like Petroski round 1 sub, but I'm not confident in that one. It depends on the number. So let's move on to the next one.
That garbage.
Got some good comments coming in. Silva and Black Shear, single plays. I like that. Jamie Pickett had chances to sub Fremd.
It's true.
Petroski finishes those. That's a good point. I do think Josh leaves himself to get subbed quite often, bro.
That's why we like the under.
Yeah, I think the fight to not go the distance. I don't think that number's up on FanDuel. On FanDuel, it's just money lines up. Let me see what it is on another site.
Tell me how this girl Agapova is from Kazakhstan. How could she ever be let back into Kazakhstan looking like that? The Demon Slayer? Maria Agapova?
Let me see this one thing. So under 2.5, dude. Under 2.5 for Josh versus Petroski is minus 140. I'm hammering.
Oh yeah, that's easy.
Minus 140.
That's easy.
There's no chance I'm not hammering that. No chance I'm not hammering that. All right, well, give me your breakdown on this fight. I haven't spent a lot of time on this one.
Luana Santos at minus 390 is disgusting, but she probably wins. Agapova is kill or be killed. She has terrible takedown defense. We lost the graphic. But Brad will get it back. Agapova has terrible takedown defense. And when she's on her back, she usually gives up some type of sub. So I think Santos probably gets her down to the ground and subs her, but at minus 390, she has cardio issues. So does Agapova. Santos is a terrible striker. Agapova at least has some pop in her hands. So
yeah,
that's my breakdown. It's pretty disgusting. I actually like the fight to not go the distance on this one too.
Yeah. What's your take overall on like altitude? Because sometimes it results in just fighters tired, so it does go the distance, and then sometimes it results in finishes.
My take on altitude is like if you have one guy that trains at altitude or at least has good cardio, then we can look at like 2-3 finishes. But if both guys don't, then it could end up turning into like just two guys laying on each other.
Yeah.
Like I always think back to the Rockhold and Paulo Costa fight. Like they were both gassed, and they couldn't really knock each other out.
Because I couldn't get a finish. I needed one late. I was like, dude, you can't finish Luke Rockhold here. Yeah. He's like hands are on his hips, like he's like
they just end up walking around the cage like one shot at a time, and nothing really happens because they're so tired. So
I think the sub props to me are the most interesting on an elevation. And this card, I don't really like that many subs though. That's the thing. There's really like if you pick 3 people to get a sub, who would it be this card? There's not a ton. Maybe like Bonfim, maybe.
Yeah, Bonfim.
Maybe you go in the main event if you think Rose or Cortez could get one late.
Maybe Santos here or Fremd
You have
or Petroski.
Rodriguez, Arosa. Like, I don't think there's a ton of fights. Jackson and Blackshear. We'll talk about that here shortly.
Yeah, that could be one.
But I don't know. So let's move on this one, Brad. I don't want to spend too much time. This one here, if you guys follow on YouTube, go sub Mattybetts YouTube. I dropped this as my underdog of the year. I got it at plus 125 on the Hard Rock app. It's down to plus 110 as of an hour ago on Hard Rock, but there are some sites that still have it at 115 to 120 range. I believe Hayden likes the pick as well. I believe he's aligned here. I will say that it's a little scary that I'm not getting too much pushback. I like when I put out a dog play and people are like hate it, but most people have liked it. Here's what I'll say about Damon Blackshear, bro. I've been waiting for a spot like this to bet him because I think Montel Jackson's the real deal. I'm not betting this because I'm fading Jackson. I think it can be a close fight. I just think Blackshear has dialed in. He has a full camp. He's worked on the Muay Thai striking. He has vicious submission game, and I just think he can outwork him. I think the KO prop right now, it's 12 to 1. It sounds crazy. Neither guy's really been finished. But again, this is going to be a high-paced fight. I think the ground and pound could be live, and I also think this is our chance to see the Muay Thai that he's been working on, bro. He's got those knees. He's got that forward pressure. His striking looks good, like on Instagram. I mean, obviously we'll see how it actually looks.
Always reality, man.
I love the money line here. I won't be surprised if it goes the distance and he wins 29-28. I won't be surprised if he finds something on the feet. And I won't be surprised if he gets a sub. I just think that the KO prop is really, really high. I think it's a high number for this fight. And I really don't know if Montel is going to want to strike or use the wrestling in this matchup, because use the wrestling. We saw Montel Jackson use the wrestling against Julio Arce. Like, he got threatened off his back, and he had some moments that he's in danger. And I think if you wrestle Blackshear, he's a guy that can put you in danger. And Montel might look at this fight and be like, "Oh, I can just use my power and striking on the feet." But he not that high volume, and I watched a lot of footage on both these guys, and Jackson has fought the lesser competition in my opinion, and he's had close fights at times. And Blackshear, short notice fight. Like, I would take Mario Bautista against Jackson all day. I would take Mario Bautista against Montel Jackson, and I think Blackshear arguably beat Bautista on short notice.
Yeah, I agree. Shout out Aaron Bronstetter in the chat. Keep up the great work, boys. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.
I agree with everything you said, man. Like, Blackshear, the problem with Jackson is he's super low volume, and he relies on the knockdowns. And at some point, you can't rely on just getting knockdowns to win rounds.
Yeah.
And Blackshear pushes a pace, and he's a guy that wants to impose his strength and his will on you. Gets you up to the cage, drags you down to the ground, and goes to work there. And if you look at Jackson, he's struggled with that type of matchup against Brett Johns and Ricky Simone, guys that want to take you to the ground, and that's what Blackshear wants to do. So
yeah,
I think Blackshear has serviceable stand-up, not the point where he's going to knock him out on the feet. And Jackson's probably the better striker. But I think Blackshear has the grappling abilities, and Jackson has shown that's a weakness. So
yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah, I just look at the fight. Like, I would have had Blackshear as I would have flipped these odds or pretty close to it. I would have had Blackshear as a small favorite here. So if I get 40 cents on the dollar of what I see as value, I'm hammering that, bro.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking at worst a pick 'em.
Yeah, I was thinking minus 120 to a pick 'em for Damon here. So full camp, the eye test is the eye test. He's looked good in his losses, whereas Jackson has struggled in some of the wins. And I just think, that Bautista fight was a high-level fight, bro, and he put it on Bautista in round 1. I will say, if he doesn't have a good round 1, I'm sweating for sure. Yeah. I think he's got to have a good first 5 minutes here, and then I think he just has to win either one of the next 2 rounds or get the finish, obviously.
Montel's on that 4-fight win streak, but it's against nobody. The only good guy he beat was Julio Arce. Everybody else is either cut or just Ronnie Yaya, 50 years old,
right?
Can't strike. So he's had these matchups because he's been super inactive. He's had to fight guys he shouldn't be fighting. So
and Damon is super durable too. So if Montel's low volume, but his strength is his power, like what happens if those power shots aren't phasing him, you know? So, all right, we'll move on. I think we're aligned there. I have a $10,000 bet on Black Shear, so hopefully you guys can tune in this weekend. We'll probably do a live stream here at the studio and sweat out some of these, so stay tuned for that. But all right, give me your breakdown on this one, bro, because I watched some footage last night at the Hard Rock, just looking at this fight because it seems to me that Jasmine is a very popular underdog, if I'm not mistaken, from what I've seen on social media, not even splits on sports books or anything, just based off what my DMs look like and social media. It sounds like people really like Jasmine in here, and I like her overall, not necessarily in this fight, but I do think she's solid. But how do you look at this one?
I think a lot of people are looking at it that way because when Fatima Klein, when they opened the odds, Klein was like a plus 180, plus 200 underdog, and then the line flipped like almost instantly. And then a lot of people look at Klein's film and they're like, yeah, she's really good. She trains with Aaron Blanchfield.
Yeah.
She's good all around. She's younger. But then you look at the odds where they are now and it's like, well, it's a UFC debut going up a weight class on short notice. Maybe Jasmine is the side as like a slight underdog or even money because she's got the experience. She's bigger, fighting at her own weight class. And I think it makes sense, man. Like, I don't know that Klein comes in here and blows through Jasudavicius. I don't think she finishes her. And Jasmine's serviceable on the feet. She lacks head movement at times, but she's long. She's big. She has really solid wrestling. And I don't know that, Klein's going to be a good fighter, but, it's not like the worst thing for her to come in here and drop her debut. She's into the UFC then. She's really a fighter that fights at strawweight. So she goes back down to her normal weight class and she does her work there. So I kind of lean the Jasmine side too.
Yeah. And Klein is an even money underdog right now in FanDuel. So Jasmine is at minus 128 as of right now. So our graphic is off there. Jasmine's actually the favorite as of right now on a Thursday night here. Yeah, I don't love this fight. I actually like the fight to go the distance at minus 280 is like a parlay piece. Yeah. You know, I think that both these girls are good. I think they're adorable. I think the fight goes the distance, but always going to be sweating it at altitude. So
split decision, Dix Insider.
Ooh,
just bet ends and split, man. That's probably the right way to go.
Yeah, I like that.
It's going to go to decision at that point. You don't know what the judges are going to score. So
yeah. All right, let's move on from this one. This is an interesting fight coming up here. Josh Van versus Charles Johnson, bro. I was a little surprised how wide this was. I think Van does have the better boxing, but you're not really putting out Johnson on the feet.
Right.
My gut tells me Josh Van by decision.
Yeah.
I think that's how the fight plays out. I think Johnson, we see him lose decisions. He doesn't get really hurt that badly in fights, but I think that Van is kind of a good prospect here. He's younger, durable. If you keep the fight on the feet, you know, win the boxing exchanges, and just win on the scorecards.
This is the same one as the last one. It's probably going to go to a decision, and then you leave it in the hands of the judges.
Yeah.
And then you're at the mercy of them. But
yeah. And remember, not to interrupt you, but Van was preparing for
Tizir.
For Ulanbekov, yeah. So you got to think that he's going to be prepared for like the grappling here, and then you ask yourself, who's the better boxer?
Josh Van by a mile, in my opinion. So, I mean, the thing is, Charles Johnson fights off his back foot. He's always constantly moving, and he's a kind of a jab, a teep kick, and like run away type of fighter. Josh Van's the guy that marches you down. And I just think for every jab that Charles Johnson lands, like Josh Van's going to land 2 or 3. You know, one to the head, couple to the body, end with a leg kick type of thing. And Charles is going to be running. Josh Van's going to be the one walking him down. Mm-hmm. I don't think either guy really gasses out. Maybe they could slow down with the elevation, but I don't really see a finish from either guy. I don't see Charles going to a wrestling game in this one either because it's just not how he fights. And if he does do that, I think that's a disadvantage because he'd probably gas himself out doing that. Whenever fighters do that, they try to go away from their normal fighting tendency. I think it's a terrible move. And I think Josh Van gets his hand raised because he's the one moving forward, landing more often. and Charles Johnson's going to be off the back foot. Can't really land anything too crazy.
Wow, that over 2.5 is minus 360. I do think that's a
crazy.
little pricier than I would have liked. I would have thought it'd be like a minus 225, 250. That's expensive because
Very expensive, especially for
to go the
flyweights,
distance minus 300. That's a little expensive for my liking. This is probably a fight that I'll just put a unit on Van by decision. I want to see what that pays. I'm assuming I can get decent plus. Oh wow, minus 110. Not even that attractive. And because Johnson has a 60% striking defense too, so you have to ask yourself, do you really want to take Van by decision at minus 110? I'm starting to talk myself out of it a little bit.
I don't know that it's worth it, to be honest. But
this might be one that I skip.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the next one. I can't wait to talk about this fight, bro, because I have no idea what Hayden's on here. But I think Cody Brundage, is going to come out with a very specific game plan here, and it's called crotch sniffing. And if you look at the Cedric Dumas fight, he shot in the first 6 seconds of that fight, and he successfully got the fight to the ground. Now, the fight didn't play out the way, I think that was a weird fight for Brundage. And I think Dumas is also a little better than we all initially thought, like just in general as an MMA fighter. I don't know, but I just think that Brundage is like first of all, I just made a video earlier today. I'm hammering over 1.5 takedowns for Brundage if you play that on a fantasy or DFS app. I think he's going to get that in the first half of the round. I think he's going to get a takedown. He's going to get back to the feet. He's going to get another one. I won't be surprised if he gets 2 takedowns in the first few minutes. But this dude's not going to stand with him. Joe Pyfer didn't even really stand with him.
Yeah.
Joe Pyfer took him right to the ground. So I think Brundage by decision is live. I think Brundage by submission is live. But I will not be shocked if he gets starched at the same time. So that's my take.
I don't know how I could ever trust my money on Cody Brundage. I'll just say that.
Especially when he fucking unfollowed me on Instagram, bro. He's dead to me now.
He might unfollow me too. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'll tell you the story. So I had Cody Brundage, or no. I had Jacob Malkoon to finish Cody Brundage, and the fight was almost over, right? Like he was about to finish Cody Brundage between rounds 1 and 2 at the end of the first round, going into the second, and then the DQ happened. And then I made a video about it, and I don't remember if he DM'd or commented or followed. And then I made another video. I think I picked against him, and he unfollowed or something. I don't know what it was, but basically he was following me on Instagram, unfollowed. He got in his feelings. Like, none of this shit's personal. We're just gamblers trying to make a quick buck. We're not coming at anyone personally that we're breaking down, unless you have an OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. But we're just trying to make a quick buck and pick a fight. And I actually think this matchup isn't that bad for Cody Brundage. I think that his wrestling looked pretty solid against Bo Nickel, bro. Like, all things considered. Yeah. So he has the path to victory here. He, solid frame, 6 foot, can wrestle, but he's got to be very careful the first 5 minutes of this fight.
I think Cody gets him down right away, and then they get back up to the feet. And then Cody shoots a sloppy takedown, doesn't get it, and then he's forced to stand, and then he gets KO'd.
Yeah.
I don't think Brundage, after he gets that first takedown, like, he can get the takedown. He just doesn't know what to do with it. Like, he got that takedown on Dumas.
I will say the Mikhail Olazechuk fight was kind of weird. You remember that?
Oh, my God. I watched that back. He got him to the ground. He got like 3 takedowns, gets reversed by Olazechuk, who has a terrible ground game, and then just gets ground and pounded from guard. Like, how can you be a UFC level fighter, supposed to be a good wrestler, get the guy to the ground, get reversed, and then get ground?
But do you think that he's more prepared or locked in based off of the Bo Nickel fight compared to what we saw? Because like, he's had a strange, up and down career, right? Like, the highs are high and the lows are low. The highs are slamming Zacharias on his head, winning a DQ against Malkoon, knocking out Trayshawn Gore. But then the lows are low, right? Getting knocked out by William Knight, losing a decision against Dumas where you land 3 strikes the whole fight.
Exactly.
But then the Bo Nickel fight, when it's just grappling, he held his own. He threw Bo off of him. Like, I just think that if he comes in with the game plan that he did in the Dumas fight, even though he didn't get the nod in that fight, I think he can just have a wrestle heavy approach here. But it's going to be a sweaty 15 minutes. What's the decision prop? I got to see that.
Cody Brundage has never had good cardio though. I mean, neither guy has ever had good cardio.
Actually, Cody Brundage has not won a decision in the UFC, so I'm imagining this number is going to be really good. Let's see. Brundage by decision, 7-1.
Will Cody, Dixon Sider, will Cody pull Gilly?
I hope he's learned his lesson.
100% he's going to pull Gilly. That's his only chances. He's a opportunistic wrestling grappler. He wants to get you there and try to you make a mistake.
Abdul by KO is -110. That's pretty sad.
If you look, all of his wins in the UFC are just opportunistic. Like the guillotine against Dolce, the overhand right against Tresean Gore, the DQ.
I mean, Cody Brundage, in a way, has already fought this dude. He fought William Knight back in 2020.
he got
knocked out.
him to the ground, got back up, and then got knocked out, bro. Like, Alhassan isn't very good, but I don't think it takes much to beat Brundage.
Yeah,
So.
he did look solid against Pfeiffer. He made him work for it. You know,
He was landing those leg
I just
kicks,
feel
too.
like both these guys are coming off of decent performances in a loss. Like, even though Abdul got finished by Pfeiffer, it was a scary first 5-6 minutes for Pfeiffer, where anything could have happened.
The Bo Nickel curse, bro. Everybody that has lost to Bo Nickel has lost their next fight.
Really?
I believe so. Somebody can fact check that. But
Yeah.
there's only 3.
So how do you feel about his submissions overall? Like, if he does just use the wrestling, right, and this drags into the later rounds, do you think he'll find a sub late, or this can hit the scorecards? Because I just like the 7-1 decision prop. I like taking underdogs by decision. He's never won a decision in the UFC, though, so you would think it'd be
The problem with that is he could win the first round wrestling, but once the fight starts on the feet, the next round,
but this big ass dude and
takedown's going to be tougher.
Yeah,
and then round 3, the takedown's going to be tougher.
I don't know that it will be in this matchup, though. This big muscular dude in altitude. I feel like if he drains his energy in round 1 and puts him to the ground,
Brundage is going to be gassed, though, dude. That's the thing. he's going to be gassed, too.
Maybe we go Abdul by sub, bro. What does that pay? I gotta look. Abdul by sub is 19-1 on FanDuel.
I mean, I could see. I would probably just rather bet the fight to go to a decision if you're looking at that.
So let's take a look at that then. So fight to go the distance.
I think Alhassan torches him, but if you like the fight to go to decision, I would almost
plus 360.
Yeah, I mean that's
so Abdul by decision is plus 850. So all right, well, we're kind of mixed and all over the place on this one. So let's move on. I want to watch a little more footage on that fight too. This is an interesting one. Christian Rodriguez coming off of what, a controversial decision win? Is that his last fight or the fight?
Yeah, Bulgarian, man.
Yeah, the Bulgarian fight.
Some people will try to sell you the fact that he clearly won that fight. That is cap, bro.
Yeah,
that is cap.
Now, Julian Arosa has printed us some coin, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Last fight.
We both were on him in the submission prop against Ricardo Ramos. Gets it done with the guillotine in the first round.
Juicy J.
Yeah, and then he has some good wins. Charles Jourdain, Hakeem, Sean Woodson, Nate Landwehr. Like, he has some good wins. I just don't like the 2 recent stoppages. Caceres, Fernando Padilla, that was like kind of an early stoppage, but he was also getting tagged. But Christian Rodriguez doesn't really have that in his arsenal where he's just going to like put you out with his striking. Right. So I almost wonder, like, the veteran Arosa is going to be a little bigger. He's not as threatened on the feet here. Can he kind of win this as a dog? Because, like, I feel like Rodriguez is going to be a huge parlay piece for a lot of gamblers.
Yeah. If C-Rod can't knock him out, then he's super live. But Rosa's been knocked out 7 times.
But Rodriguez has no KOs in the UFC, and
yeah,
he's kind of, this is a bigger guy.
Rosa's been knocked out 7 times. He got rocked by Ramos before he got the sub, and he got knocked out all the way back on The Ultimate Fighter by Artem Lobov. So his chin is just a massive concern.
Yeah. Do you think Rodriguez has the power, though?
I don't know. I just don't know that it takes much.
Rodriguez by KO is only plus 270. It's just
like Padilla isn't necessarily like a heavy-handed guy either. You look at his record.
You know what's crazy?
A lot of subs.
Same with Caceres. You know what's crazy is Rodriguez by sub is 7-1. And I almost like playing that more just because the club and sub, right? If he doesn't have the power to put you out cold, but Arosa's striking defense sucks and he's getting tagged, maybe he's able to hurt him and then at 7-1 find his back or something.
Yeah,
I think that's not a bad number.
it is not. I don't think Arosa's been sub though ever.
Right.
But if he is rocked, then of course he is 6'1", not 5'10". So yeah, he's a big flyweight, and C-Rod should be fighting at 135, but he just can't seem to make weight.
Juicy J round 3, 2,500.
Bruh.
I think he's live early, not late, personally.
Yeah, this one is weird because
And Rodriguez has shown pretty good cardio.
Yeah, I don't really see either guy gassing out, and I don't see C-Rod being submitted, and I don't see Arosa knocking him out. So if anything, I'd probably just take Arosa decision if I was going to go the Arosa
You know
side.
what's crazy? Hold on, I want to show you what's in my photo library right here. I had a 2-legger in Hard Rock. I haven't bet it yet, but look how fucking crazy this is. Tell me that's not a Mattybetts parlay right there, bro.
Oh, it's disgusting.
It's so ugly,
disgusting.
but I got to hear it, see if the chat thinks this has any chance of hitting. 2-leg parlay. I haven't bet this. This is not an official bet. This is just what I was kind of dicking around with. Austin in the chat. What's good, bro? All right, here we go. Austin, while you're here, you can comment and tell me your opinion on this. This is a wild one, but Arosa by decision, plus 325, parlayed with Cody Brundage by decision, plus 550. 1,000 pays 27,000. 27-1. I get Arosa, the bigger guy, just win a decision. I get Brundage, who his path is going to be with the wrestling, to win a decision. It's ugly. It's hideous.
It's ugly because both guys are going to get knocked out in the
could
first
hit.
round.
It could hit, bro. Yeah.
But if they don't, then make it do a decision.
Yeah.
Then we'll see.
Like I said, non-official play. I might not even put it in. But I do like decision lays. I hit the 35K with Hayden at a Hard Rock. The last leg was what's her name? Fiora by decision. Austin said I was leaning Brundage into over 2. I mean, bro, Brundage hasn't really been chinned since William Knight, right? Or was there...
Oh, he's been chinned all the time, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah. Olashaychek.
But that's not shit. He was like ground and pounded.
Oh, he got put out cold.
On the ground.
Pound. Yeah.
But I'm saying on the feet, has he really been knocked out cold? He hasn't in the UFC. It was just, like I said, that that Olashaychuk fight was ugly for sure. I didn't like that
because he's
at
always
all.
diving for takedowns.
Yeah. But that was back in what, 2022? I feel like it was a different, I don't know. I just feel like he hasn't really been chinned on the feet. The William Knight fight, the Dana White Contender Series, I would have to go back and watch that tape. But that was a round 1 loss. It was elbows. I don't know. Just something to think about. No official pick there. What's your official pick or what's your lean on this one before we move on?
For a pick, I would take C-Rod.
Yeah.
Just more durability.
Not a bet, just a pick.
Yeah.
And anything you like as a bet, like exact outcome or total?
Maybe C-Rod round 1 KO. Just because if he does it, it's probably early.
Yeah. Austin said he thinks Cody lives. I have a weird feeling Cody lives too. I really do. But I do agree with what Hayden's saying, right? Like he uses the wrestling and then this big dude just falls on top of him and then the ground and pounds there. So that's the part that scares me. I'm less scared about him getting chinned on the feet than a bad takedown where he ends up in bottom position getting pounded out. That's my fear if I'm on Brundage. So
Yeah.
all right, let's move on from this one though. I love this fight here, and I'll tell you why. Everyone keeps saying, I think this is the buy low spot, one of the buy low spots of the year on Gabriel Bonfim. And him to win this fight inside the distance is minus 135 on FanDuel. And I really like that number. I know doesn't seem like the greatest number in the world, but everyone doesn't get finished until they do. Everyone's like, oh, Lusa is durable. I'm like, based off of what? He's had how many fights in the UFC? And Brian Battle should have finished him if it wasn't for the eye poke. And Reese McKee had this dude wobbled in round 3 where he didn't even know where he was. He was walking in like circles on the feet. So I just think you're getting a buy low spot on Bonfim because I think that last fight was more about how much of a stud Nicholas Dalby is, bro, who then goes out and arguably beats Fakhretdinov. You know, so that's the way I look at this fight. I think Bonfim round 1-2 is a great play here. I think that he can get a choke in round 1, or I think he could literally just land a big shot on the feet. I just think that the whole narrative of Lusa is super durable. I went to dinner with Anousa like a couple years ago with Pat Downey. He's not a big guy, bro.
5'10".
He's not a big guy at
5'10"
all.
is really tall.
Yeah. He's not a big guy. I think Bonfim's going to come forward and just, be the hammer to the nail here, is my opinion. Lusa did come out and start fast in that last fight, though, on the feet. In his last fight, which was it? What do you like in here? The Brian, no, two fights ago.
Yeah.
And then you look at Lusa's wins, barely against Reese McKee, like dominated the first 2 rounds. Don't get me wrong, but had to edge it out. And then AJ Fletcher, not exactly the most defensively minded guy. Fletcher has only had, he finished Garimbo, but I don't know. I just think that this is a perfect bounce back spot for Bonfim here.
Yeah, the thing about the Bonfim bros is they kind of got pillow hands, man. Like Bonfim's got 15 wins, 15 finishes, but only 3 KOs.
Yeah.
And
Luce has a 90% takedown defense to play devil's advocate here.
Yeah, but he did get taken out by Battle his last fight.
Yeah. Again, it's about who he's fought. So he's a 90% takedown defense in the UFC.
He's not fighting guys.
But he's fought Jack Della Maddalena, Reese McKee, AJ Fletcher, who has some wrestling.
They're all strikers at the end of the day.
Yeah. So, I just don't care. Look what Bonfim did before Dalby. Round 1 sub against Trevin Giles. Trevin Giles lasted longer against Dricus du Plessis, right? He had a Von Flue choke against Trey Waters back on the Contender Series. Like Trey Waters, since then, 2 straight wins that have gone the distance. So I just think that this is a perfect bounce back spot. I also think the MMA gods and karma is coming for Anousa, bro, because he took the easy way out on that eye poke. So who am I to talk about that? But at the end of the day, we all know it's true. So Gabriel Bonfim inside the distance -135. I'm playing it. I'll probably also do. I think Hayden's right. I don't know that he'll get a knockout. I think around 1-2 sub. I'm gonna probably lay on
1-2 sub. That's what I'm thinking.
Let me take a look here.
I don't think it's anything crazy, but
yeah, it's just the question you have to ask yourself is: do you really believe in Anousa's 90% takedown defense?
Fuck no.
And I don't.
Hell no.
I just don't.
Bonfim can get his takedowns whenever he wants.
Yeah. And it could be a one and done. Yeah, we've seen it be one and done. Look, Bonfim's first 3 fights were all one and done. One of them weren't even a takedown; it was on the feet, and the other 2 were one and dones. So, if he gets you to the ground early, and your name isn't Nicholas Dalby, he's gonna finish you.
I do kind of like that Dix Insider sub decision, double chance.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me tell you what that number is. But I have a feeling it's very close to the money line because, like you said, he doesn't have that many KOs. Bonfim by sub or on points -195. So that does bring it down a lot. That actually brings it down a ton. Yeah, I'm going. So if we look at exact round and outcome, I'm going to play Bonfim round 1 sub +320, Bonfim round 2 sub +600. I like both of those.
I like it. I agree.
Let's move on. Question in the chat: what sports book do I use? So I live in Florida, so I use Hard Rock, but I also use a half a dozen other sites, a half a dozen other bookies, a half a dozen other ways to bet. I bet everywhere, like DFS, sports books, offshores, bookies, friends, like peer-to-peer. The key is using as many as you have access to, shopping lines and odds, finding the best numbers, finding the best promos and deals. So I use a ton of them. Let's move on. This is the main event of the night. I don't care what anyone says. Drew Dober versus John Silva. I put 5 racks on Silva last week. Netted me 5,700 in profit. I'm fucking pissed I didn't put 10 or 20 on him, bro, because Gilbert and Moicano were sitting at the UFC Fight Pass doing the pod, and they tell me, and I've never seen both of them so aligned and confident on something, They're like, dude, this dude's not losing. And I look back at that fight and I'm like, how was Charles? I know hindsight's 2020, but there's no reason Charles Jourdain should have been favored in that fight. Like that was one of those fights that it was literally a gift from the gambling gods. And then John Silva comes on our podcast, Show Me the Money podcast. Go check it out on YouTube, guys. Show Me the Money podcast. Me, Gilbert Burns, and Moicano interviewed John Silva. He came on the pod. And not only is he confident that he's knocking out Drew Dober, but he gives us the exact recipe. He talks about how big this dude's legs are, how stiff he is, how he can slip the shots, find angles, and KO this dude on the feet. And I'll be honest, the value of this fight is on Drew Dober because you're getting a guy in John Silva who finished Charles Jourdain at 145, right? Coming up on short notice against a guy that's been there, done that, bigger, hits hard, all these different things. I think the value is on Drew Dober, but I just don't give a damn. I'm taking John Silva by knockout in this fight. I've been fooled once before when someone came on the pod, and it was Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill came on the pod and said, bro, I am knocking this motherfucker Alex Pereira out. He's like, I'm so confident. And I got swayed, right? And after that fight, I was like, I'm not betting against Pereira again. And then what did I do? I bet Pereira in the fight we just went to. I bet Pereira to get a knockout or to get – I sprinkled on the sub. Obviously, that was stupid. But I had the money line inside the distance and the sub. And I took Pereira, and, he wins that fight easily, obviously. What I'm getting at here is the difference between Jamal Hill coming on the pod and saying he's knocking him out versus John Silva. The difference is Jamal Hill had this delusional confidence, whereas Silva not only had the confidence, but he has the momentum and he has the exact blueprint and game plan. He knows how he can do it. You guys got to go check out that clip on Instagram or go check out the full pod on YouTube. But this dude is like, I almost feel like he shouldn't have gave that plan out on the internet, but he's so confident in how he's going to do it. He thinks he can find the angles. He thinks Dober is very hittable on the feet. Well, go look at Drew Dober's resume here.
Let me tell you this.
The fights that he loses, that he wins, he gets beat up in.
Oh, yeah.
Bobby Green outlanded him like 40 strikes, piecing him up till he finds the finish, right? Then there's two other fights right next to the Bobby Green fight. Rafael Alves gets dropped by the UFC. Was kind of like showboating in that fight and having some fun with it. Terrence McKinney goes out there, arguably finishes it. That fight gets stopped with some refs in the UFC. I don't forget which ref it was, but Dober survives. Then McKinney gasses and finishes him, right? Loses to Brad Riddell. Loses to Beneil Darius. Like, I just think and then Frivola, right? And I actually think guys that are a little bit lighter and faster are better matchups to beat Dober than guys that are bigger guys, because I think if you have a little bit faster of hands here, you can find Dober's chin. And guess what? He's now 35. That's something about that 35 number. I know this isn't a championship fight.
Almost 36.
But he's almost 36 now. So, again, my initial read on this fight was Dober's the value side. But I've been swayed. I think there's momentum and confidence on John Silva's side. I won't be surprised if he gets knocked out, though. I like the fight to not go the distance. But then a part of me looked at Silva by decision, and I saw it was 6-1. And I was like, oh, my God, if he just pieces him up and Dober's chin holds up, that's a good number too, Whereas the knockout's only 2-1. So a lot to unpack here. What are your thoughts?
Well, I had the same initial thought, like Dober, because he's got the preparation, trains at elevation and all that stuff. And then I watched the film, and the craziest part is I saw these perfect openings for Gene Silva. And then I watched the podcast, and I listened to the podcast, and he said the exact same things that I was seeing.
Bro.
And I'm like, this dude has the perfect game plan. Because when I looked at it, it's like Dober is so linear, and he has those big legs, and all he does is really bounce on those big legs, and he jumps in with a 1-2, trying to land the left hand down the middle.
Yeah.
And he gets caught with a left hook in between his 1 and his 2, which Gene Silva knocked down Charles Jourdain with that in the first round of that fight.
Clean, bro.
And Charles Jourdain is a southpaw, so if you can watch film on Gene Silva when he's fighting a southpaw and how he moves, Drew Dober is just it's elementary, man. It's just straight down the middle, 1-2s down the middle, and then after he's in range, he's gonna wing big hooks. And Gene Silva, being the smaller guy, has better movement. He's quicker. And after he's going to land that left hook as Dober comes in, then Dober's going to get a little bit more gun shy. He's going to try to really land that one. And when he does that, the right hand down the pipe is going to be money, just like Matt Frevola knocked him out. So this is Gene Silva all the way, in my opinion.
I'm buying into the hype train, bro. And it's a good question in the chat. Does Gene Silva have power like Matt Frevola? I'll tell you one thing, bro. I think he is 10 knockouts in MMA. Does that sound right? Obviously not in the UFC, but let's take a look here. He's 13-2 MMA record, 10 wins by knockout, 2 by submission. The question is here, and we haven't seen Dober ever take this approach, but is there any chance that Dober comes forward and wrestles?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't think he will either.
If he does, that's a mistake.
Yeah, and I think if he does, Silva has some nasty subs too that are kind of in his back pocket. I don't know. Austin chiming in here in the chat. Interesting that Silva by sub is 7-1 when it was 12-1 against Jourdain.
Yeah. No,
the dude doesn't want to sub though. He wants to knock motherfuckers out. He came on the pod. He made that very clear, and he said that when he knocks out Drew Dober, he's getting on the microphone. He's calling out Josh Emmett at 145. That's a main event, bro. I really believe so. Like if he comes out and knocks out Drew Dober, I would love to see that Josh Emmett fight.
Gene Silva is a different fighter, man. He has a different flow, different timing. He has great anticipation for what his opponent's going to do, and he capitalized on it. So, Gene Silva, bro, all day.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. And again, my early read, I still believe that from a pure value standpoint, if you're going to play a money line here, I think Dober's the side. But I think if you play a knockout prop, I'm going Silva. I believe he's going to get it done, find the chin. And I'm only saying that because if you just look at, if you believe in the whole buy low, sell high parts of sports betting and gambling, Drew Dober is still a stud, and Silva's coming off of back-to-back fights and he's going up in weight and Dober has a chin. So that's all I mean by that. But at the end of the day, we're going Silva. So let's move on to the actual main event, which we have, by the way, we have 730 people on the live stream right now. So I appreciate everyone that's tuning in. We're streaming this on X, Facebook, and YouTube. So you guys can find us there. Also, if you've tuned in late, we'll make sure to post the full episode on the Mattybetts YouTube, where you guys can go through the chapters and watch all of this. Oh, we have this fight here before the main event. We have Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Muslim Salikhov.
Old men.
Yeah, old men. This is tough, bro. The 37-year-old versus the 40-year-old. Both guys coming off of knockout losses. Both guys kind of have a little bit to prove here if they want to keep their careers going. I don't know how I feel about Ponzinibbio being a -215 favorite here. I really don't have much of a read on this fight. We were talking about this on the podcast with Gilbert and Moicano. They think the fight's not going to go the distance and someone's getting slept. I don't know that there'll be much grappling here. What do you think?
Yeah, I could see probably an early finish, or if it goes later, just two sloppy old dudes and it goes to decision. But Salikhov could honestly be like 50 years old. I think he probably forged his birth certificate because he came into the UFC at 33, and I think he was more like 40. You look at his Tapology photo, it's black and white. It was probably taken in like the 60s. He didn't have a beard. He's got a mop head. He's old.
Yeah.
And he just continually looks worse, in my opinion. Like, he's not a guy that uses his footwork very well.
Salikhov?
Yeah, Salikhov. I mean, he stands there and he wants to kind of counter strike. And Ponzinibbio is the guy that wants to pressure and let his hands go. And a big thing that I've seen is like Salikhov is allergic to right hands down the middle. And reason being is because he doesn't get off the center. And Ponzinibbio likes to land the right hand. So I like Ponzinibbio, but I don't really love him because he's not very durable and he's older himself.
What would you line Ponzinibbio versus who just knocked out Salikhov?
Randy Brown.
What would you line that fight, Randy Brown versus Ponzinibbio?
Randy Brown probably like minus 250, minus 300.
Yeah,
So.
I agree. I was going to say over minus 200. So, yeah, I think Randy Brown's coming on and is just really, really good, bro. And so that's what you have to ask yourself with Salikhov, because like let's look at his past fights prior to that.
If I took Salikhov, I'd take him by KO because he doesn't have the volume to keep up with Ponzinibbio, in my opinion.
He did lose a decision to Dalby. So that went the distance. Fialho, I remember that fight. He got that it was kind of like a ref stoppage where
Fialho
just you could just look in his eyes and tell he did not want to take any more damage. Kicked in the head, like karate kicked, bro. Like
mushroom MMA.
You know,
most of Salikhov's old fights were on 8mm film.
Yeah. I mean, he has some wins though, bro.
I mean, yeah, like he got in the UFC, he was okay because he was like 40 at the time, but now he's 50. So
yeah. I think Ponzi by decision might be the play. So I want to see what this fight to go the distance, because I just have a weird feeling it goes the distance.
What's Ponzinibbio decision?
Plus 220. That's a good number. On a minus 215. I don't hate that, because I feel like that Randy Brown fight was just he just really caught him. It was a weird.
Yeah, but like the Randy Brown KO was like Salikhov didn't move at all. Yeah. And he just got a massive right hand down the pipe.
So when's Ponzinibbio's last KO been? His last KO? Oh, the Alex Morono, yeah. But that was kind of lucky, bro. And he was getting pieced up.
He got dropped like 3 times in that fight.
And then he couldn't get Miguel Baez out of there.
Yeah.
I think this fight goes the distance. I think I'm just playing the fight to go the distance.
Austin, I kind of like that too, the over on 6 strikes, but I'm afraid of an early knockout. That's my only
fight to go the distance plus 120. That just feels like a win. You know, it feels like a win at
minus 120. Plus 120?
Plus 120. I like that number.
Shit. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. Ponzinibbio could get
what is Salikhov by KO though? Salikhov by KO is plus 390. And I think Hayden's right. Like, if you're going to play Salikhov here, plus 160 versus plus 390 on the knockout is much more attractive, especially if you don't think he's going to win a decision.
He just can't keep up with the volume, you know? I mean, maybe he could go to the wrestling, but you going to trust a 50-year-old to get in on the hips, you know? Probably not.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the next one here. The main event. I still to this day will never forget when Rose fought Carla Esparza, and I was there live in person, and I fell asleep during the fight. No, I'm just kidding, but I basically did. That was an absolute miserable fight here. This is tough. Tracey Cortez, undefeated in the UFC, right?
Yep.
Hasn't fought the greatest of competition. Probably has a wrestling advantage here, but does she really have an advantage anywhere else?
No, not at all. Maybe in the mental headspace.
Maybe the IQ, the fight IQ, or maybe just the mental health space.
Aggression, you know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say mental health because she's got a lot
By the
of
way,
problems
someone
herself.
literally told me on the phone today that Rose is hotter than Tracey Cortez.
Whoever that is.
They were like, cut them off. They did say when she had hair though, so but
maybe.
Still no.
I wouldn't touch either with a 10-foot pole.
Not Tracey Cortez?
Nah.
That's a bold take, bro.
What she did to Brian Ortega could never be forgiven,
so it's
bro.
Not a physical thing. It's just
It's a personality thing.
Fair
but
enough.
This fight, man, I think
what would you bet on her is the question.
Would I bet on her if I was gonna throw money at the wall and hope it sticks? Sure. Because really you're just basing it on if Rose doesn't show up, because Rose is the better fighter in all aspects. But she could have another Carla Esparza performance. And at the same time, it's like you don't want to bet on Rose at minus 235.
And do you feel like Carla's the better wrestler than Cortez?
I'd say it's probably similar, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just like the threat of the takedown is probably going to make Rose a little bit gun shy.
What did you think about Cortez's performance against Jasmine?
I thought she looked really good with her hands. And she threw a lot of volume, which is good. And I think volume is really the way she wins this fight, in my opinion. If she can throw a lot of volume while Rose is trying to pick her shots, and that just looks better to the judges, then she can get a win.
Yeah. And I think Rose is durable. if Montefiore isn't putting you out, then I don't think Tracey Cortez is. And I trust in Rose's ground game to not get subbed. So like I feel like if you're gonna play Tracey Cortez here, you're betting on her to just be the fighter coming forward, being the aggressor, landing more shots. And I think if you're gonna do that, you're gonna play her on the decision line here, which is plus 270. Ouch.
Yeah, it's not that good.
I hate this fight, bro. I don't think I like anything.
I kind of like Rose by sub, which is what, plus 900?
Oh, really?
Just for a long shot. Because if you think, Tracey taking this fight on short notice, it's kind of like a no risk, all reward type of fight.
Yeah.
Where she goes in there and she makes one mistake and it's over. But like the fight to go the distance is super chalk.
Is that crazy that Rose has more than 2 times the amount of KOs than subs? Or it's more, she has 5 subs to 2 KOs.
Yeah, I mean,
won a lot by submission, bro.
It's not really
but it's just been a long time. Her last submission was a rear naked choke against Michelle Waterson-Gomez back in 2017. And then before that, she choked out Paige Van Zant, Angela Hill, but that was in 2015.
Yeah.
Like, these are just long, long times ago, but, like, your jiu-jitsu is still there,
Yeah. I just think if Tracy's going to be trying to wrestle a lot, then,
and
the opportunities will be there. So it's like plus 900. Even if you get one opportunity where she takes her back. Like,
I'm sold, bro. You sold me.
You
sold me at plus 900.
Plus 900, you just a little sprinkle. Yeah,
you sold me on plus 900. I just wonder if Cortez is coming forward on the feet. Like, it's just like, I just hate. I'll be on that sub prop, and then it's just a 5-round striking match. Like, takedown.
Yeah,
so,
be a Carlos Esparza fight. It doesn't even hit the
ground. I'm not excited for this main event. I'll be brutally honest here. I don't really like it from a betting angle either, but I'm gonna sprinkle on that Rose by sub prop. Let's see what Austin said here. Rose is a 59% takedown defense. Cortez over 2.5 takedowns on a DFS app.
2.5?
Well, it's 5-rounder.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah,
Rose does get taken down.
She does.
Let me look on the UFC site here. So
those high takedown numbers are always sketchy to me. I just
I know because then it's a finish.
Yeah.
I mean, Ribas took her down 4 times, bro, in a 5-rounder. So that's why it's like that. And then Wei Li even took her down 5 times, 5 and 7 times. Rose in 5-rounders. Or no, I'm sorry. I looked at the striking number was 7, not the takedown. That was the head kick win she had. But the second Wei Li fight in a 5-rounder, she got taken down 5 times. So I think the over is safe if it actually goes 5 rounds.
Yeah.
She's going to get 3 takedowns in the fight if it actually goes 5 rounds. It's tough, bro. It's tough. I like your sub. I think the sub is live here, but I don't really love a lot in this fight.
Yeah. I mean, Rose would be a pick, but
yeah. All right, well, let's build some parlays, bro. Austin, if you're still in here, feel free to chime in with what you like here. But Hayden's new to the show, so what we do every week, we do a quote-unquote regular parlay, which is usually in the neighborhood of 4-1 to 7-1. And then we do a long shot parlay. The rules of the long shot parlay is it has to be just 2 outcomes, but it have to be crazy outcomes. Okay. So typically the long shot parlays, we're looking for like a 30-1 or 50-1. We've gone really high. We've gone like 120-1. Obviously we didn't hit it, but so let's start with the safer parlay. We're targeting around a plus 500. Are there any parlay pieces that were like -2, -3, like that we liked while we were breaking down the show?
Okay, so you're talking
first thing right off the bat, I'd be down to throw in the Petroski fight to not go the distance.
Yeah, I like that.
But it's not on FanDuel, so let me build this elsewhere until it's on there.
It's up to -185 on Hard Rock.
So let's build it right there for now, and then we'll build the long shot parlay on FanDuel.
Okay.
All right, so let's add that one on. We're gonna go Petroski versus Josh Fremd and not go the distance. That's leg 1.
You want Dober, Silva, not go the distance, -300? Or is that too
I'd rather skip that at -300. Well, first of all, the Petroski fight. Do you prefer under 2.5 at -135, or do you prefer minus 185? I kind of like the under 2.5.
Yeah, let's just do that.
It's a better number, and I just All right, so going under 2.5. Petroski fight. Up next, that's at minus 135. So we need at least another leg or two here. And feel free in the chat, guys, to put what you like here. But we need at least one or two more legs. We have Evan Elder. Evan Elder's up to minus 450 now. Jesus.
It's getting a little bit.
I mean, I
too
feel like we
much.
have to put Black Shear money line in there, bro. Are you down for that?
I mean, I'm down. I'm down.
I can't have that be my dog of the year and not put it. Or, yeah, let's go Black Shear money line. So that has us up to plus 266. So we need one more conservative leg. We could go. There's the Van Johnson fight. I think we have to go. No, I was going to say Josh Van by decision, but.
What's
dude, I'm down to go
Bonfim sub. That's not very conservative.
that can be the next one. I mean, it's plus 115 on Hard Rock. I'm down to do it.
No, we can't do that. That's too.
It's not that. It's just the same. It's the same chances of.
Yeah, but it's too like.
It's too exact.
Too exact. Yeah, we got to get something broader.
I mean, we could go under 1.5 rounds on that, but that's at plus 120.
Yeah, no, that's trash.
That's scary too.
We could do the fight to not go the distance there. Minus 220 gets us to plus 432.
All right, that's the one.
All right.
All right, so send that to Brad or screenshot that so you can put that in the chat. All right, we have that parlay is going to be in the chat here shortly. Let's now look at a long shot outcome. A long shot. And first we got to decide, is it a submission or a KO that we're going for? So I'm going to let Hayden go for a leg here, and I'm going to go for a leg here. And it's going to be a big, long shot. You want to go first? This one will be on FanDuel.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it can't be because mine's not on FanDuel yet. That sucks.
So these are long shots.
It's like an exact outcome that's like anywhere from like 5 to 20 to 1.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I will take.
We're gonna do Hard Rock again because.
I'll take Fremd submission.
I knew you were gonna do that.
Plus 550.
Fremd by submission plus 550. You know what I would love to bet in that fight is just the fight to end by submission. How do we do that?
Yeah, I wish we could do that.
Not for the long shot, but just in general.
Yeah.
You send that to Brad?
The first one, yeah.
All right, so Brad, type that in for us so they can see the first parlay. For my leg, you guys are probably going to hate this. We are going Damon Blackshear by knockout. Plus 1,200.
Oh, boy. We're all in on Blackshear.
No, because we didn't put it in the. Oh, we did. No.
We did.
All right, I'll leave it out. I forgot about that. I don't want him in both parlays. And I know people are going to hate that.
Gotta have more to sweat, you know?
Yeah. All right. We're not going Blackshear by knockout, but I will be sprinkling on that as a straight bet. What was yours again?
Josh Fremd submission.
That's right.
Plus 550.
All right. So Hayden's going Josh Fremd by submission. My long shot leg. Brundage by decision.
Of course.
If you're not bought into that, though, I'll take it out.
I mean, I'm not.
Austin and I, when we do it, if we're not both okay with it, we take it out.
I'm down to do it. I'm not against it.
Let me take one more look here. Or I don't know. I kind of want to do it. 41 to 1. We're doing it. All right. Long shot parlay. Josh Fremd by submission. Cody Brundage by decision. $100 pays 4,100. I just sent it to Brad. So let's get the first one's up there on the screen, boys. Under 2. So we're kind of
Can we please not include Brundage?
All right, the first lay. Under 2.5 in the Petroski fight. Black Shear on the money line as our dog of the card. And Bonfim Lusa to knock her the distance. 100 will return you 532 as a total payout. The second parlay. 2 long shots in 1 lay. Josh Fremd by submission. You better hope Petroski gasses and gets guillotined. And Josh Fremd has a guillotine, bro.
He do.
It's nice.
He do.
It's a good guillotine. And Cody Brundage by decision. Just imagine, because the Fremd fight will be first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just imagine that hits.
Oh,
and
God.
then Cody Brundage is like in round 3. Ref stands him up. Oh my God. He's up 2-0 on the scorecards. That's what we fucking live for right there. That's what we fucking live for.
We just do 2?
Yeah. Oh, fuck it. Let's do one more.
Do one more.
Let's do a KO parlay.
Okay.
2 fighters to win by KO. That's up next. Let's do it. This one probably I'm going John Silva for mine. I mean, it's not a huge number.
I like it.
There's just not a lot of options though.
Yeah.
So I think we have to throw him in there. So we're gonna go Silva by KO as leg 1 at plus 200. And then for Hayden's,
I'm gonna go Ponzi KO.
what's the number?
Oh shit.
I think we might have to go 3 legs on this one. Because that's only plus
Ponzi?
175 for it to be a long shot. So we got two KO props. We need one more.
C-Rod?
Let's do it.
Plus 240.
Plus 270 on FanDuel. So I got this one on FanDuel. Fucking parlay.
Better hope the new gloves are popping.
Why won't it let me parlay on my phone? All right, we're going back to Hard Rock. Silva by KO.
Ponzinibbio KO. And Christian Rodriguez by KO.
Dude, we should have did the C-Rod sub. Plus 240.
Should have done that.
And Ponzi. All right, Ponzi by KO. I'm sending this one over now. 100 on that one pays 2,600. Brad's going to put that one in the chat now. So we have 3 parlays. We have 2 long shots, and we have a safe-ish parlay.
Safe-ish.
Safe-ish. So putting that third one on the screen now. Make sure you guys screenshot these. Tag us on Twitter or Instagram if you bet it. Maybe we'll do a giveaway and pick someone if any of them hit. I really feel like I'm due for a big one this weekend, bro. I really do. I just feel like I'm destined.
Due. Unbelievably
I'm
due.
destined, bro. I just missed the days, bro. 1,000 to 45,000.
Hey, at least you took Moicano's advice. Just put 10,000 on your best bet.
Yeah. I'm
You're taking it as
10,000.
advice. We'll see if it works.
Yeah, 100%. There's the parlay. Knockout parlay. John Silva by knockout. Ponzinibbio by knockout. And he put Charles Rodriguez, but it's Christian Rodriguez.
Charles Rodriguez.
Christian Rodriguez. $100 is going to return you $2,700. That concludes the show. Like, subscribe. We will see you guys back next week. Maybe we'll try to work Hayden in more often. Maybe with Austin. Maybe all 3 of us would be electric, and we could each do a leg to a parlay.
Oh,
I feel dangerous. Like we're due to hit big this weekend. Like, no bullshit.
We're so due. So due.
All right, fellas. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe. We will see you next week.